Hey Gypsies, in this episode we're going to be continuing on in our discussion on the air. In previous videos we've talked about just the act of being able to sustain tones, playing long tones, and the benefits that can give your clarinet playing. And we've also talked about playing terraced dynamics, sustaining out a good forte and sustaining mezzo piano and mezzo forte, and being able to hold those steady dynamics for a sustained period of time, 15, 20, 30 beats or whatever. That really gives you a degree of control once you learn to do that over the sound of the clarinet that will improve every aspect of your clarinet playing, especially in terms of tone and in terms of phrasing. But one of the things that makes the phrasing even better is to be able to do this in a kind of escalator-like fashion. Instead of stair-step going from one terrace dynamic to another, what we're going to do is we're going to actually play crescendos and decrescendos. Now, you know, everything you do on the clarinet has to do with the air. But seldom do we ever isolate the air and practice the air and get sensitive to the air itself. And then once we master that kind of control, then go to the notes, add the phrases to all that control that we've gained by concentrating on the air. But when you work on dynamics like this, when you terrace the dynamics, forte and pianissimo and so on, and when you do the crescendo, decrescendo control studies, what you're doing is you're mastering the shaping of the note itself that you'll be able to apply to not only individual notes, but to phrases and make them more expressive. The most expressive tool you have, well, you actually have two very expressive tools as a classical clarinet player. You have rhythmic nuance, and you also have then dynamics. Dynamics really add intensity to the shape of a phrase and heighten the expressions. If we're just playing everything mezzo forte, or if there's just dynamics are just hinted at, then our playing sounds monochromatic. It's really inexpressive and uninteresting. So adding this control of dynamics is very, very important. The thing we need to do as we're working on dynamics and learning to play dynamics is to achieve consistency in pitch, color, and shape as we change the dynamic. It is in dynamic extremes that the perfections of your tone production skills will be tested and tested to the max. And there, you need the greatest discipline that you can possibly manage. Anybody can play mezzo forte and mezzo on the clarinet and get away with it. But when you hear a player that can play beautifully in the extremes with consistency of pitch, color, and shape, then you have a person who really can do something artistic with a musical phrase, something very expressive, and something that will make the clarinet really stand out as the musical instrument it really is. The best way to begin playing dynamics is to start by playing a forte and diminuendoing down to your lower dynamic, to your pianissimo. And then once you achieve that, then try to begin the note very softly, where you ended it, and then bring it back up to the forte. I like to do this in 8-beat increments, setting the metronome very, very slow, on a very, very slow tempo, like maybe 40 to a beat or something like that, and play 8 beats from forte to piano. One neat thing you can do is record this, and if you have one of those sound editing programs in your computer, watch the shape of the sound in the sound editing program to see that you get a perfectly even gradation as you're doing that diminuendo from forte to piano. One of the other things that's really kind of neat to do is to watch a tuner while you're doing the dynamic changes. And that tuner, once you establish the pitch, that tuner should stay as stable as it possibly can in terms of the pitch frequency as you play throughout the dynamic. Of course, you know, bad technique is going to cause you to play flatter when you play louder and sharper when you play softer. Now, why do you do this? Now, I've done a couple drawings here that kind of explain it. Here in this drawing, you can see the person is doing everything wrong that can be done wrong, either at the higher dynamic level or the lower dynamic level, what is happening is the player is biting, as you can see the arrow of the jaw going up. And you can also see that the clarinet mouthpiece is no longer lifting. It's sort of fallen away, and the tongue position has gone very low and very forward. And what you can't see in the drawing is the person has also changed the airstream and is blowing now toothpaste tube air. Well, this combination is disastrous for either playing the high dynamic, which will cause you to play with a spread sound and very flat in pitch, the spread sound, the shape will just shatter. Or when you're playing the soft dynamic, which will also cause, again, the shape to disperse and get very, what I call watered down, like you had a nice rich color in the sound when you were playing mezzo forte, like a nice rich brown or chocolatey color, and then someone threw a bunch of white and light yellow into it. So now it's kind of a paisley kind of brown, kind of a tan, sickly color. That's what you don't want. You want to maintain that rich color when you're playing that soft dynamic. But the low tongue position, the slow air, which is all the temptations that clarinet players run into when they play the softer dynamic, will not get you there. Will not get you there. The way to maintain consistency in pitch, color, and shape in the dynamic extremes is to keep as perfect tone production techniques as you possibly can. You can see it in this drawing here. See, the player at the forte and the piano is maintaining that great high back tongue position. The tongue position is remaining consistent. This is very, very important. If the tongue position goes forward when you're playing in that forte, the pitch is going to sag something terrible. And the player is also maintaining the snugging. The snugging is very, very important. If you bite, like the player in the first drawing there, if you close the jaw, if you bite instead of snug, and snug more firmly to play the pianissimo, for instance, the pitch is going to go very, very sharp. But snugging, like you see in this drawing, what happens is the snugging pushes the tip of the reed past the pressure point, and the reed has full amplitude to vibrate along the mouthpiece curve, and the pitch will stabilize. It will stabilize as you snug slightly more when you hit the lower dynamic. So this will help you achieve, the more you snug and the more you keep that tongue position really good, the not only the focus of the sound, the center of the sound and color of the sound will remain consistent, but also that pitch will remain consistent too. Biting at the soft dynamic with the slow air and the low tongue position will always cause sharpness. The biting reduces the amplitude of the reed, pinches it down on the mouthpiece, and drives everything sharp. That's why so many clarinet players play sharp when they play softly, because they're biting, and it's a no-no. So these are the things to practice when you're working on your dynamics. Keep the pitch as steady as possible, keep the color and shape as consistent as possible, and this is really a matter more of ear than anything else. But you can also check it with machines. You can check it with the tuner, and you can check it. You can check your consistency and evenness in dynamic crescendo and decrescendo by checking it out on one of these recording programs that you might have for your computer. You can get one; they're not expensive, so I'd highly recommend doing that. And you can really see the shape and the sound and see the consistency of it. These are things that will help. The main thing that will give you the success as you vary the air, and you're varying the volume of the air, not the compression. The compression remains the same. Remember that. Is that everything else remains consistent too. The lifting and the snugging gets more perfect. The tongue position gets more perfect. And if you practice these things daily, separate from all the notes and all the rhythms and all the stuff that you have to play when you play music, if you practice control of the air like this daily, with long tones and crescendo and decrescendo, you're going to see a real marked improvement in your expressive phrasing and your control of the sound. Okay, that's my message here with the air, and I think we're almost done with the air. Maybe one more video, but I hope this is helpful to you in achieving your goals and playing the clarinet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.